Hi, this is Big Papa Grump.
And I'm Junior.
And we're the Board of Doom, and this is our NXT Takeover Brooklyn Trace recap. Alright, so we're going to start with the Johnny Gargano-Cien Almas match, and Cien Almas won off of a very emotional distraction from whatever her name is.
Yeah, the chick he's with.
Yeah.
And I'm an NXT guy, and I don't know.
Complete brain fart on that. But yeah, it was nice to see Cien Almas win on a...
Rosa Mendes.
Oh. No, not quite. So, but yeah, you?
No, Johnny Gargano should have won. It's bullcrap.
Oh, they're building...
No, I know.
They're building to the, they're showing the emotion of the Tommaso...
While he's dead.
Betrayal, yeah, and just biding time until he comes back, because they really don't got anything else for him to do until he vanquishes Ciampa or whatever.
Alright, and that brings us to the NXT Championship match between the reigning champions, Authors of Pain, versus Sanity, which included Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf. At first,
yeah,
Sanity did a really cool move where Alexander Wolf went to go tag Killian Dane, but since he never tagged him, he was never legal. So Eric Young was like, no, tag me, and it kind of messed with the Authors of Pain. And then Eric Young got
beat up for 10 minutes.
Like ever. Yeah. But, I mean, it was a really good match.
Yeah, it was.
At the very end, Sanity pulled it off, which you can show the fact that Eric Young had his master plan, and it outplanned Paul Ellering.
Yeah, he outmasterminded the mastermind.
And then, after Sanity was celebrating, out comes Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, they had both premiered, and that was foreshadowing, because as soon as they came out together, it was like, well, we'll get to that in the main event. But yeah, it was, they had both premiered, your debuted or whatever, separately, both, I believe, in losses to Aleister Black. And then, so now, and they were former ROH tag champs, and now they're showing that they're going to tag together again.
Yep.
And then
they picked up the belts, and they were like...
Alright, then we get to another grudge match. This one between Aleister Black, who still has the coolest intro in NXT now that Shinsuke's left, and Hideo Itami.
Performed live by a band that sucks.
Yeah. Code Orange was not impressive. Just tossing that out there. Although I think they did his theme song fine because
all you have to do is yell.
Yeah, and plus they have the singer who does that for it. But yeah, anyways, but really solid match. You knew there was going to be a whole bunch of kicking because, as I pointed out before, Aleister Black is awfully kicky.
And Hideo Itami is New Japan style, so
yeah. So there was lots of kicking. Picks up the win off of a Hideo Itami mistake, and it was pretty good. He was also bleeding like a stuck pig out of his nose. I've never seen anybody with a nosebleed that bad. But yeah, with at least with his nose still being straight.
And the kind of cool thing was there was no GTS. Yeah,
he was unable to hit the G. He went for it once, but was unable to hit it, and then he hit the Black Mass, and it was over. Yeah, so Itami's losing streak continues. I think they're actually trying the same thing with Hideo Itami that they were rumored to want to do with Baron Corbin, which is pile up a bunch of losses, frustration, anger, super aggressive heel. So which I'm okay with. Plus, they don't really have a whole lot for Itami to do right now.
Yeah. If he's not going to go after the NXT Championship, then he kind of doesn't have anything else to do. That brings us to the second championship match of the night, the women's match between Asuka and Ember Moon. Asuka retains, kind of cool. And it was not as cheeky as her other retains. Like, I mean, there's a couple things here and there, but it wasn't like the ending was dirty.
No, the dirty stuff happened a few minutes, like a couple of minutes before the ending, with her like hiding behind the ref and all this other stuff to avoid getting hit with another Eclipse.
Which she survived the first time.
Yeah, she kicked out of an Eclipse, so the Eclipse is no longer the most protected move in NXT. It's now like probably second, who knows. But yeah,
Black Mass is the most protected.
Yeah, it was a really good match. It was a solid match. It was better than their what was it? Takeover Dallas. That they were also it was better than Takeover Dallas. And but yeah,
she didn't even hit the Eclipse.
Yeah, she was unable to hit the Eclipse, and this time she hit one. Asuka sold it like a champ too, but yeah, it was, and she ended up tapping to the Asuka lock.
Which means that if they have a third encounter, Hopefully they will. That's probably where Ember Moon's finally going to get one up because, you know, so close, finally got it. I like that story building.
That brings us to the main event, which was the NXT Championship match between Bobby Roode and Drew McIntyre, which, again, they work a slow pace. Both guys do, so they worked well. It was actually a really good match that I think the crowd was kind of burnt after the fact that it was spot fest after spot fest after spot fest for the previous 4 matches, which, on a side note, we did not give Gargano Cien Almas the credit for the spot fest that it was. It was a great, well-told match. But to this one also told a really good story, but, you know, the crowd was kind of slow to get into it. But as you got towards the end, and they knew the end was coming, and then all of the false finishes started hitting, that's when the crowd got back into it, and Drew McIntyre kicks out of a glorious DDT. Actually, he survived a glorious bomb too.
Yeah.
And you know, mistake.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. It was the big boot, and 1, 2, 3. It was over.
Yeah.
And then the real story happened, because then all of a sudden you had Fish and O'Reilly show up in the corner, and you knew what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then the crowd saw him, and out came Adam Cole.
Baby.
And laid him out. So I guess they are starting the ROH faction that's been rumored for a while, and I'm excited. You know, there's a couple of ROH guys that are still to show up. I don't know what they're going to do with, like, Lio Rush, if they're going to keep him separate, if they're going to include him in this or not, or if it's just going to be those 3. I'm fine if it's just those 3. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
The ROH invasion.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have an invasion angle that actually works this time.
That'd be cool. Although, with them not being able to name ROH, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, they could just, you know, these guys they are from the outside.
Indies invasion, the invasion of the Indies, because they mentioned Indies on WWE Network and stuff. So, you know, be cool. We'll see what happens.
All right, so that was NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, and overall, SummerSlam has a lot to live up to. Golden Boy made a point that, you know, they are 2 different types of events, and I get that, but for me, it's how well you keep the crowd into it. See, NXT has the advantage of only putting on 5 matches in 2.5 hours, so they can just come at the crowd with all kinds of action, and the crowd doesn't get spent until the end. Where SummerSlam is like a 14-hour show, much like WrestleMania, and so it's highs and lows and highs and lows. And
so we're looking at you, Lesnar, baby.
Yeah, so it's but yeah, so big news, a lot of interesting developments going into NXT, which seems to be what we always talk about after the takeovers. NXT's got some interesting stuff going on. And then after, like, one of the big 4, we're just like, oh my God, what was WWE thinking? So hopefully we won't have that too much at SummerSlam.
Maybe we'll get somebody to debut at SummerSlam. Bayley did it last year.
Yeah, there was one year before that. Yeah, there tends to be, but we'll see. I mean, I can't think of anybody who would pop up, but who knows? Besides
Adam Cole, baby.
Well, yeah, but besides, you've got the Undertaker rumor and all that. So, anyways, but I've been Big Papa Grump.
And I've been Junior.
And we've been the Board of Doom. We'll catch you next time.
Top presenter out.